What this study is about, event organizers identify the tasks and roles that need to be filled, determine the qualifications and skills required, and recruit or assign volunteers to those roles. This is called a top-down approach, which ensures volunteers are given clear guidance of their responsibilities. Now, the top-down approach has 4 key characteristics. Task characteristics refer to activities and responsibilities to perform. Knowledge characteristics like level of education, expertise, and training required to perform a job. Social and contextual characteristics. And in terms of what we did was we looked at the task characteristics and knowledge characteristics as well as social and contextual in their whole forms, and more importantly, the connections with job outcomes, and resulted in 17 propositions. Now, what are job outcomes? We're talking here about attitudinal outcomes, behavior outcomes, and well-being outcomes. And there's many examples here that we can add to that. Now, another thing that we looked at in addition to job outcomes was the importance of mediators and moderators. So mediators in this study explain the relationships or the process between job characteristics that are explained and job outcomes, and the moderators point towards the strength of those relationships and then direction. So, for example, how do male volunteers operate as opposed to female, age, and so forth. The mediators that we looked at refer to psychological states of volunteers, their attitude towards innovation, and the actual innovativeness itself. In terms of moderators, we looked at volunteer type, full-time, re-engaging, or just a one-off, and so forth, age, job position, education, and the gender, and we extracted that from the literature that we did. Now, why bother? Why looked at all that? Because from registration to crowd management to logistics, setup, tear down, and much more, event volunteers are essential to the success of many events, and we've got about 1.8 million volunteers that contribute to an estimate of 158 million hours each year in Australia, helping to generate about 3% of our national gross domestic product. Now, we're looking at volunteer attraction or recruitment and retention. And event organisers use various strategies to do that and retain volunteers by offering flexible scheduling options, incentives, creating a positive and supportive environment. And as part of that, the top-down approach can provide that clear direction and guidance and accountability for job satisfaction. Now, this is the conceptual model that was the result of this study and the 17 propositions that we are looking forward to expanding and exploring more. And by using the findings, I'm going to talk to you about these propositions now. So we already jumped on the first proposition, moving on to the second, third, and fourth proposition that looks at the link between job characteristics and job outcomes with the role of the psychological states. For example, there's direct and indirect links, so the dotted arrows show indirect propositions. This is going fast. Now we are looking at direct and indirect links and propositions between job characteristics, job outcomes, and the role of attitude towards innovation. And as you can expect on the next slide, we're looking at propositions between job characteristics and job outcomes and innovativeness. I don't have time to read the propositions, but moving on to the next slide, we see how some propositions are tying in a lot of components in that figure that we are proposed. So we look at how innovativeness in particular can be we can see moderators and mediators intertwined. And dotted lines again show those indirect relationships between the key variables. And in particular, what I want to look at is how the psychological state can impact innovativeness, which then indirectly can influence job outcomes. Now, while this is coming into an end, one of our key propositions is about the moderators. And so we're talking about the volunteer type job position, age, and so forth, and how they moderate how strongly they moderate the relation between job characteristics, all job characteristics, and all job outcomes for event volunteers. So if we're looking at the so what and where to from here, if you look at the study a little bit closer than 6 minutes, we offer a lot of clarification of concepts. These relationships are clear. We integrated all the existing knowledge, and subsequently we can identify research gaps and see where to next in terms of empirical testing and future research, which was the purpose, I suppose, of the seed funding. So we also observed that there are certain areas of research priority. In particular, some of the propositions that focus on volunteer attraction and retention through social environment and human resource empowerment. In terms of advancing theory, which is one of the points that I want to stress, this is for what we see, the first study that looks at a job design that focuses on the organization of work tasks and responsibilities to optimize employee or volunteer performance and lead to some innovative approaches. So looking at all that and how we can potentially use it long term, I think there's a lot of scope to use the findings of this study with the aim of looking at innovative ways that will empower volunteers to engage and be empowered to contribute towards the big events that we have ahead of us, in particular the Brisbane Olympics in 2032. Thank you.